بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد النبي الأمي وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Dear brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I welcome all of you wherever you are. I welcome you again with your program Fatwa Life. The first question: what is the punishment for prostitutions in Islam? And can a Muslim to marry one of them? And what does a Muslim do whenever he marry a Christian and then later on he found out she was a prostitute? Actually, I mistranslated that. The question is about homosexuality, the lesbians. What is the rule about lesbian women in Islam, and what about a person who found out that his wife was a lesbian before? The scholars had agreed. There is no punishment for for that, because that's not adultery. But there is a punishment either there's the this is something that you could do just to prove the crime and attribute to the person. The punishment, like prison and stuff like that, or fines, is something that Allah Azza wa Jalla gave the authority to humans to decide on that. But that's only to the legislation part of the human legislation. The ruler will punish that what he thinks that's going to stop this crime from happening again. And that's after, of course, proven that accusation. Ibn Qudama says, if two women had sexual intercourse with each other, then they are adulterers, because what is narrated of the Prophet ﷺ, if a woman touch another woman, then they are adulterer, but there is no punishment of like killing or whipping, because there is no intercourse. And what this is the adultery of in the sin, not in the punishment. Just like the Prophet ﷺ, when he said, for son of Adam, part of adultery, because the eyes, they commit adultery, and they do it by looking, and the hands and the legs, they do is to walk toward the place, and the touching with the hand, and the heart, love and wish, and the private part support that or deny it. If she's still on that act, then, but if that's part of her past history and she repented from it to stop it, then خلاص, the one who repents from a sin is like he had no sin. But she's still doing that, and he knows that, and she still insists on doing that, then that should not be a wife for him, because life cannot continue like that. If he married someone and found out that she is lesbian, just like any sin, even the adultery that require the punishment does not make it automatically a dissolution to the marriage, but gives the other part the right to separate for harm. After all the financial part is settled. So for that person who found that his wife is lesbian, he advised her if he wants to continue marrying her. But if he wants to leave her, he can do it, and he's not going to be blamed for that. So he had two choices: either to correct her condition, or repent, ask her for repentance from that past, and not to go back to it, and uh, if she kept insisting, then he have that right to separate and leave. Sometimes she's a newly Muslim, or it's you have to look at every situation individually. What the second question? What is the secular Muslim? A woman, she debated me about a Muslim whom have committed because the secular don't believe in the unseen. She said no. A lot of secular they believe in the unseen. And is he a secular who believe in the unseen? What is the definition of secularism? So I tell the sister, secularism in its theoretical meaning, that's in the book, separation between religion and state. And its major one is to separate religion from life. Does not mean disbelief in in the unseen, but to reject all the religions when it comes to the religion and state or religion and life. And its theoretical word, it is a big disbelief, does not combine with the origins of faith. Because if please deserve the eternity in the hell, because he returned one rule from Allah to prostrate to Adam, and Allah has answered him, leave, you are going to be stoned, and you have my curse until the day of judgment. So how about those who reject all Allah's rules, not just one, whether a state or life in general? That's in its understanding. But for those who attribute to it, they're not the same. Some they mix between consultation and democracy, and you think that secularism is consultation and democracy is, and and the media, which is full of secularism, they are trying to falsify the facts. Let me summarize to you the 3 points, a few points. So secularism is to separate religion and do not accept going back to any of its rules. Could be in general, which you separate between religion and life, or could be on something in particular like politics, economy, and so on. Faith and secularism are two different things, obviously, because the origins of religion does not is not approved except with the complete absolute admission what Allah has sent of His messengers, to believe them and to follow. So whomever rejects Allah's rule, like he rejected everything. The secularism, they deny the origins of religion from monotheism or the message. Yeah, does not believe that God is the guidance, and they believe He is creator and sustainer in some countries. And from the message, They do not require you to follow the Prophet ﷺ, even though they agree on his prophethood,
المناط المكفر في باب
but
العلمانية
they don't
هو رفض
require you to follow
الشروط
him.
أو نفي اللزوم تكذيبا لثبوتها أو طعنا
So
فيها
secularism
أو
rejects
نقضا
the Sharia, the rule of Allah,
للنفس بل لا
or part of it,
يمكن
or
أن
denied
يقوم
some of it, or
بعد
its existence,
معرفته بها
and
ومعرفته
to reject
بدينه
it, and
فقد
to follow the
كفر
human
بباطل
desires.
نواقض الإسلام
So whomever
مع اعتبار ما
with
ذكره
this
أهل العلم
point, then he
من
have
شرط وشروط التكفير والانتفاء بالإيمان
uh,
يكتنف المناط
then he has confused with
المعاني
what rejects the
الإسلامية
Islam and faith.
التي ينبغي التحقق من اتباعها قبل إجراء أحكامه على أفعال الناس ولهذا شبهات مسألة شبه عدم الإعلان النهائي عن
One of the
الفتوى
problems,
العلمانية
not to declare
اللجان التي تعمل أحيانا على
final.
تحقيق الشريعة في كثير من الولايات الإسلامية لم تعلن العلمانية خيارا
A lot of
حتى
countries in
لا
Islam,
تكون اللجان
they did not
والشريعة
admit that they are secularism, but they uh,
الثالث والرابع
sneak it in there
يسري في عمل
in
فتوى
changing the Sharia,
شبه
the-
تقديم عقد على النقد
or to
والمصلحة
debate the brain over
يعمل
the
بعض
rule of Allah or the word of Allah or His Messenger.
اختلال بعض الشروط أو تخلف بعض المناطات شبهة الاستضعاف على المستوى الدولي
Or to weaken on the international arena.
فكروا بالمغايرة حرب النموذج السوداني
And there are so many leaders who wanted to do this and they were killed.
أحد الناس بيصعب على مستوى الدول كما في بيضطر
And
على مستوى الزوجية
just like you have obedience on household, there is international and recognized way where they don't allow any religion to rule. And someone said that the rules are coming from the Sharia.
ردت إلينا طب والنتيجة إذا الشريعة مطبقة بالفعل زعلانين ليه الشريعة موجودة
It is just like the Sharia. These are rules. It is
اشتغلنا
interpretation of the rule.
استورناه منهم فجانا عليه بس خدنا الخوارج هو أصله جذوره بعلمه طبعا الكلام ده
All this is falsehood that they are trying to confuse the truth with the false.
عشان يعني إيه وأنت تتكلم عن تكفير أحد الناس
When you talk about someone who disbelieve, you have to talk about all the other different thoughts that they have and they follow.
قبل أن يصير الحكم على أحد الناس منهم من قال الأحكام
Some
الشرعية
who said
أحكام إرشادية
these are just advices.
روح النصوص
This is the spirit of the religion, but not it has to be applied. And they left everything to the experience of the human.
منهم من قال
Some who said
عدم ثبوت الأحاديث النبوية المثبتة لكثير من الأحكام الشرعية مسلسل الهجوم على السنة
they have series of attacking the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. They don't have programs to apply. They say, oh, you Muslims, do you have a complete system? No? Okay, leave us, we have a complete system. The Sheikh's talking about all these doubtful things that they try to put in the debate, in the dialogue. That's how they provide the doubt in people's mind. And also to make human constitutions or to establish only the certain worship over others. Celebration of Eid al-Fitr and Adha, the Prophet ﷺ's birthday, and they add some other stuff. They make cocktail of certain obedience and to Allah, and they just leave it for the virtues that you have to do, and they want to leave the religion only to pray, make fasting, and pay zakah, and that's it. But they want to adopt all their ideologies and implementation of the politics. In general, it's under the ruler. The extremism that they have made, the doubtful about extremism, with a whole bunch of other doubtful things that they are trying to implement or attribute to Islam and religions in general. So it's different from one area to another. We we're going to look at a specific case, a specific area. What is meant to separate between the general term and the specific. So when you specify, you have to do the best of guarding to guard yourself, because to make a Muslim disbeliever is like killing him. Ali said, if there is 99 ways of good and one to make him a Muslim, then the Mufti or the judge should not go beyond that. So if you find a way to the Muslims, let let go of him, because the leaders to slow in by forgiving somebody is better than to wrongfully be harsh on him. Another question. What about the book of Ali Sabuni, the Safut al-Tafasir, the name of it? They said, nothing wrong, inshallah. But I give you the tafsir, the explanation of As-Sa'di, or the Muyassar is more pure than the other one. Someone is asking about something that you do to straighten your hair, and it has some it has a big oil or fat. The Maliki, they did not agree that it is part of the filth, and the rest they said it is not clean. But you do whatever is more guarding, so it is better for her to avoid that. Allah did not make it. There are so many alternatives. We all should go back to Allah. To Allah, we are. I'm sure there's other alternative and other choices. There's a channel of Islamic affairs that forbid people to go for the countries or of non-Muslims. I think for those who follow us, we know that we have answered that question several times, at least 10. They go to our website and they look into the latest lectures, you'll find it there. But to honor them, to their eyes, I repeat myself. So I tell for those who have a problem with our answer, and very calmly, for the American Muslim Jurist Assembly, the decision about living outside Muslim countries. So I tell the person, this is a decision adopted by 50 scholars. We're talking about individual fatwa. No, we're talking about a group of scholars who had adopted this.
قال بها مجمع فقهاء الشريعة بأمريكا وجل رموزه
Most of
ومحدثيها
the scholars, they and this leadership, they made that decision.
وفق لا والله
It's not about the West.
من كبار
It's
أئمة
just the big
الشريعة
names in fiqh and sharia.
دكتور وهب الزهيري
Wahb al-Zahiri, Ahmad Hassan,
طه
Ahmad
ريان
Taha Rayyan,
يوسف
Yusuf
قاسم
Qasim, Ali Salus,
المشايخ من الغرب والمشرق خلاصة القول في
and
هذا
summary.
يا سيدي ويا سيدتي أن المسلم الأصل المسلم يقيم حيث يكون أرضى لله
The Muslim
وأعلم
should stay wherever he is more pleased to Allah and more beneficial to his religion.
الشرق من المسلمين
To live in the East, it is easier to do that
الإقامة في الأرض
than to live in the West. But
يتفاوت حكم
the rule in the West
الإسلام
or outside Muslim country depends on the conditions.
من كان قادرا
Those who are able to expose his religion and free from any affliction on his religion, then he can live, because the Muslim can worship Allah wherever he wants and wherever he can. It is forbidden, that stay, for who cannot expose his religion, or he's afraid that he will be afflicted at that time, then he can go to a different area. The land of Allah Azza wa Jal never been too tight for the people that He has created. Allah said that His land is very big. And the Shaykh said in the ayah where the angels came in to hit those that they have taken their lives, and they did not do any place. And it says,
وحفظ الإسلام على أهله ودعوة غير المسلمين إلى الإسلام الدعاة والولاة والمرشدون والذين يأمرون بالقسط
and those who guide people, these are the guidance for the sea of darkness, and their stand could sometimes be required, not just recommended. So it is for the new Muslims, newcomers to Islam, who are easier to settle this da'wah, to settle Islam in the community, because they can speak to their peers with the vocabulary, with their culture, with the way that others will understand them. Yes, maybe you get some. Encourage them to use every opportunity to learn, because he is by himself, is a whole nation by herself, because Allah Azza wa Jal will open on his hand what others cannot do. So the matter, there's more details in it. That's part of the explanations, and I hope that you go back to the amja.org, amjaonline.org or .net. There is 20 conferences. Is it required to divorce the first wife in the court so I could marry somebody else? And this way it will be divorce twice. My brother, don't ask me to disobey the law of the land, but I will tell you what the recitation of the divorce is from the divorce. When not having except with intention, if you just intended to just to resolve any previous matrimony and there's no doubt in it, What is
وضابط الضرورة
the
لأخذ قرض
necessity so you could take a loan from guidance?
يرفع من مستوى الأسرة المسلمة النقل مع الأسرة لاستخراج
Is
منطقة أرقى أو
to
أعلى
go to a
إلى
different
الأرض
place so you could
المقدسة
have better
يعد ضرورة.
uh,
ومن قال لك
places.
ذلك
There's
أن الضرورة
necessity,
هي تتعامل مع غيرك
and
لا
is
لتغركم بأفواهكم.
uh, who
النفقة
said it's only guidance? I never said that. We
يجوز
said
التعامل
you
مع
cannot.
الرجل عند الحاجة
We said
وليس
on
الضرورة.
the necessity.
إذا كنت أمام ضرورة
If you're
حقيقية
under an
نفترض
emergency,
تتعامل مع بنك في أمريكا
you deal with any bank,
الضرورة المفهومة الشرعي
because what is required Islamically that requires you to deal with anything. But there is Islamic rules who deal with you on the need. So don't put in our tongue that you cannot deal with guidance or UIF except when there is a need. No, that's what you are claiming. Otherwise, we will make it they are the equal and the same.
فماذا شرطه صحيح يسوى لك التعامل مع غيرك الذي ذكرته حاجات مشروعة يسوى لك التعامل مع غيرك ونحن نريد التعامل
So
عند الحاجة
we want to deal with need, not when there's a need.
عن طريق الوظيفة
How about the life insurance?
حالة وفاة لا قدر الله. اتفقت المجامع الفقهية التي نعلمها على حرمة التأمين التجاري على الحياة وأن البديل هو التأمين التعاوني يا رعاك الله. لكن إذا
The
قلنا التأمين
the insurance, if it is given from a different area from the work, there's nothing wrong with that.
من جملة البينفيتس التي تقدم لك في وظيفتك في حياتك نعطيك كذا وكذا بعد مماتك
After your death, we give your family so and so.
أما أن تدخل في عقد
But to go in a
على الحياة لا يجوز
the contract is not allowed, and then you look at the necessities that require you, and you take every case different. Look into the local mufti, explain to him so he can tell you what you need to do. Someone is saying every year we take some money for me and the kid. Can the father take from his sons a little bit of money? If he take the whole money, is he going to be sent? The money, the father, the son and his father and his wealth is to his father. In the Sahih ibn Majah, a man came to the Prophet ﷺ. He said, my father, he gives my money. He said, you and your money to your dad. Then Allah, as Messenger said, he, your sons, from your best of cultivation, so eat. And this is to use, not to abuse, meaning you could use it, but it's not yours. And the zakah, Allah Azza wa Jal allowed the father and the son, individual responsible for zakah. If the money is all for the father, then he will take it all when the son dies. No one said that. He is one of the inheritance. Can the sheikh, can he divorce the woman that were left in court originally? Then the sheikh and the Islamic Center do not interfere with the divorce until they get the divorce from the so there will be no problems to any Islamic center. You could go to the civil court and then you come to the judgment to After the divorce is presented or
زوجة
accepted, then
تشتكي إنها منزوجها
you
وعمل
look for the
فيها
Islamic divorce.
وكذا وكذا تشكي زوجها
Someone
وهذا
is
على
asking, she's
الزوجة
going through a
هل
terrible financial
هي
situation. She's asking,
أستقر
can I take
ألبي بعض ضروراتي وحاجاتي
a loan so I could get
ماذا أفعل يا سيدتي إن كان الأمر حقا كما
house needs?
تقولون
If you need,
فأرجو أن تسعى في الرخصة
so I hope you have the
الحسنة في
choice.
الضرورة قلت طب أنا
She says,
عندي فرصة
I have a
أنا أقعد
chance,
في البيت
take a
ما
house,
عنديش فلوس أدفعها
but I don't have to.
رحت لشركة التمويل الإسلامية
I went to the
طلبوا
Islamic
مني
financial. They
مبلغ
said they want a
مالي
down payment that's very high,
معقدة
very tight
تحتاج
conditions,
والريت
and the rate that they use
على
is very higher.
وأنا ليس عندي لا
I
المقدم
don't have
ولا النقد أدفع
the
الدفعة
I
الشهرية
don't even know how to pay the first month.
وفوق هذا البنك التقليدي
And on top of this, the normal
مبلغ
uh,
إعلانات
when he gets.
وأنا أرملة مطلقة
So she says she's a widow, divorced, you don't have any kid. So I would tell her,
على إن صح ما تقول
if it's true what you're saying,
الوقائع مسؤولية المسلم أرجو أن تسعى في الرخصة
so I hope that you have the ease.
التي تمثل ذات الضرورة وتقليدا لمن أجاز ذلك ابتداء من بعض أهل العلم ولتعذر البديل الإسلامي في الحالات
And
التي
sometimes with the absence of the Islamic alternatives, it's very hard to find one. One
تزوج في بلد
another question, another person who got married through the media
بعض الشهود في
with the
مجلس
witnesses.
الولي كان في
The wali, he was in England. We went with him into the phone. So far, so good.
المشكلة ضخمة
What is the problem?
علمنا
We
أن
found out.
الولي ليس الأب
The guardian is not the.
الذي تولى تربية هذه الفتاة منذ الصغر
It is the husband of the mother. She doesn't have any relationship with her father, and the one who raised her is her father-in-law. This is with the Islamic Center. If that's good, if the father accepted later. Well, first of all, the husband of the mother is not a guardian. It's always in the asaba, which should mean the father, the grandfather, the uncle, the son, the grandson.
لكن لا تنفي هذه الولاية العصبية اللي هي مناط استحقاق الولاية في باب الزواج وإجابة الأب نكاح
And
ابنته بعد تمام العقد الذي أبرز
the
ولي لا يصححه الإمام الخطاب يقول
the father accepting after the is done, it is not accepted.
لم يصححه إجازات الأولياء الحد ينبغي
So the solution, you have to renew the everything through the acceptance of the father. Won't take more than 5 minutes. If you can't,
قلدنا الأحناف
then you take the Hanafi, that the woman who is righteous, she could marry herself with the equal. So someone who had his marriage on a woman, he stayed with her in a room.
حصل بينهما ما يحصل من الزوجية
It happened
في مقدمات الجواز
with the introduction of intercourse, but he did not have because she had her period.
ثم بعد هذا
And then he divorced her.
ما الذي تستحق من المهر؟
What does she deserve? The whole or half?
سؤال جيد.
Beautiful question.
هذه المسألة من مسائل
This matter, it is disputed between the scholars. The majority,
الخلوة بالتعاطي
that isolation, it is an isolation. Usually they have the intercourse, and she did not stop him in that.
لها حكم الدخول
So
اتفقا على نفي
even though they did not have the intercourse, but still considered as if it happened.
كامل المهر
So she deserved the whole dowry
الاستحقاق لكامل المهر وإيجاب العدة.
and required
هذا
that she has
مذهب
the period,
الحنفية
waiting period.
والمالكية والحنابلة، بل هو كالإجماع من الصحابة
It's like the
على أن
majority of the
المتوفى
companions that
أو
whomever all
طلقها ستة
put
فقد
a door
وجب المهر
or
ووجبت
then
العدة،
makes the
لأن
dowry
التسديد
required and the
المستحق
adda
قد وجد
and the timing.
بالتهنئة فيستقر بها البدن كما هو. وضعوا زي ما بيقولوا كده،
I'll give you
لو
an example.
أجر
If
الدار
he,
أو بعتها أسلمه. أنا أجرت دار
if
ولكن
I rented the
تسديد
house, I
المستحق.
give the keys to
وإن
the
كان
renter.
مثلا ما استعناش فحر
If he need to use it, it's free,
يلزمه الأجرة
but still
على كل حال.
he's
يخص
required
الفاسد
to
المقصود ظاهر
pay.
امرأته
So if he left
وطلقها
and he did not,
وأراد ذلك
and she admit,
مهرا كاملا
she gets
يسعى
the money completely,
وإن كانت قد علمت أن الزوج
even
طلقها.
if she knew that the
فيجب
husband did not touch her.
ولا
Ibn Qudama said there is no difference between the isolations with the what did not allow the intercourse.
كالرضع والعلة بجنب الزوج أو شرعي، صوم، إحرام، حيض النفاس، الزهار، الحكم معلق على الخلوة.
So the rule is about the isolation that happened between them.
ولهذا الفرق بين
So if he's isolated with her, then because she had a son, it will be his son.
نعتذر لم نقصد السؤال بشكل خاطئ.
We apologize about the question.
والقرض مع بين ازدهار الارتقاء لمنزل أكبر استفاضة من هذه حاجة مشروعة. نعم حاجة
Is the need is allowed to take a loan from guidance, so we
ولا شك
get to a better house
عندما تدخل بأموالك 30 سنة أو 20 سنة
and to be better than rental.
تمشي وصاحب البيت يتمتع بقيمة البيت، أنت تضررت بإلقاء هذا المال في الميدل اوف نوير، في الفضاء المقولة، أن تنتقل كل سنة أو اتنين من بيت إلى بيت إلى بيت.
So if you go from every year from one house to another,
انتقال من بيت إلى بيت.
and we know the hardship into this.
ولا يعرف العزل إلا من يكابده ومن تجرع مرراته. والقرب من مركز الإسلام كل هذه
To be closer to an Islamic center, all these are things that require the Muslim to get closer.
حقيقية صحيحة تسوغ لك التعامل مع جايدنس. بارك الله فيك. أعتقد أحبتي
We come to the end, inshallah. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك، نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت، نستغفرك ونتوب إليك.